Joe Burrow came in with the highest of expectations when the Bengals selected him first overall in the 2020 NFL Draft. Coming off what was potentially the best single season by a quarterback in college football history, and with uncertainties about the other top two quarterbacks in his draft class, the stars aligned for the Bengals to draft the future face of the franchise out of LSU. Although Burrow looked better than anyone could have expected in his first season, 7 weeks in and the Bengals only won one game, and it seemed like they had the potential to break out, but were lacking the ability to finish. Kinda like a certain other team with an outstanding rookie quarterback I covered a few weeks back. But then, in Week 8, the Bengals were visited by the 5-1 Tennessee Titans with their dominant run game and a Ryan Tannehill who came into Nashville with a serious case of the gaze and turned into an MVP caliber player over the course of one season. I want to take a look at some of Joe Burrow's notable plays against the Titans and explain exactly why I think he is already the Bengals' best player and why, in my opinion, this team has a bright future despite a currently bleak record. First play we're going to look at came in the second quarter with just over 5 minutes on the clock. This one stood out to me as I first watched it because it was doomed to utterly fail the moment they snapped the ball. Bengals are in a gun bunch wing close formation, which is an extremely tricky alignment for defenses to match correctly. You see 3 receivers lined up on different levels of depth on the far side of the field, as Zach Taylor seems to have done some creative work in the lab, integrating the bunch alignment with a wing tight end fullback hybrid. They are running a very curious play-action rollout with a counter screen setup on the field side and a so-called dagger concept, meaning a clear out go down the seam with an underneath dig route by the Z receiver. The Titans handle all this confusion perfectly and seem to completely wreck the play from the very start. Pressure comes in as Burrow is chased out, man coverage down the field is on point, and the entire defensive front sniffs out the screen and takes it completely away. Special mention to Vic Beasley, number 44, for recognizing what was going on from the word go and completely disrupting this design with a disciplined containment job. Burrow is left with only one option here, which is to throw a perfect pass over the defender in front of him to T. Higgins coming across the field on the dig route. He keeps his eyes downfield, and with pressure in his face and every option taken away by the defense, he has the confidence to throw a perfect high point pass to the 2 square inch spot that his completely covered receiver can make a play on it. We're seeing very impressive next level processing by Burrow, understanding what went wrong, what got taken away, and keeping his calm to make a positive play on a broken down play call. Next play, 3rd and 10 in the third quarter. I included this one not because he actually keeps the drive alive or even because of the spectacular escaping ability that he demonstrates here. Which, by the way, is one of the reasons that people compare him to a player like Russell Wilson rather than more traditional pocket passing quarterbacks, and rightfully so. His athleticism is one of the most widely underrated qualities. The reason I included this play is to highlight Joe Burrow's head state in a situation like this. With all the pressure and chaos that's coming his way, take a look at how his eyes go back downfield every time. The pocket collapses right away as Harold Landry comes screaming at him off the edge. Burrow shows great pocket awareness, steps up, and his eyes and focus remain downfield. As none of his receivers get any separation, he has to buy extra time again as he escapes the sack, spins out of pressure, and the first thing you see is him turn his head downfield and keep looking to make this play. And a third time, Titans are flying in his face, yet he shakes his way out of it, gains some space, and to the very last moment he has his head up, looking to throw before he decides that he needs to run it himself. This is such a rare quality in quarterbacks, not rookies, but quarterbacks in general, that I had to highlight it in this breakdown. You'd see most quarterbacks in this league either take a sack, lose track of his receivers as he scrambles for his life, or take off after the pocket first collapses. Burrow shows unbelievable discipline several times on this play, and he combines it with his aforementioned athleticism to almost make a special play for the Bengals on 3rd and long. Another play I want to look at is this 3rd down conversion in the 4th quarter on one of the most crucial plays Burrow made all day, with the Titans coming off a touchdown score. The Bengals are in a gun doubles open wing formation running something. In all seriousness, I have no idea how this play was drawn up. You got a corner out route by AJ Green, a deep go into double coverage on the opposite side, and what looked like a horribly failed attempt at a slant across the middle by Tyler Boyd. I watched this play like 25 times trying to figure out how this concept was supposed to come together, and I have reached the conclusion that it just doesn't. Pressure is once again screaming in Burrow's face as 7 Bengals can't manage to block 5 Titans, and the coverage downfield as sticky as ever. Look at Tyler Boyd getting bumped off whatever route he was attempting to run. He's completely taken out of this play. As Burrow steps up in the pocket once again with great eye discipline downfield, look at when he releases this ball. Tyler Boyd is completely tangled up by his defender with no separation or even awareness of the ball whatsoever. I'm having a genuinely hard time breaking this down considering how much it got messed up, but what sticks out all the more clearly is the mental ability of Joe Burrow. Understanding down and distance, understanding that the receiver is supposed to break off his failed route and improvise getting open at the sticks in this situation, and understanding that this is never in danger of being intercepted with how aggressively the defender plays down on his man coverage. I suspect that Tyler Boyd saw the first down marker in his peripheral vision and had the last second inclination to break off and turn his head for the ball, which, as bad as this play was designed and executed, this ability of a quarterback and receiver to be on the same page, as well as him managing to catch this ball with no reaction time whatsoever, is amazing. And of course, Burrow put it in the exact spot that Boyd couldn't possibly miss the ball. The Bengals would go on to beat the Titans in a huge upset victory as Joe Burrow played maybe his best game as a Bengal so far. It has become clear after the first half of the season that he is already the best player on this Bengals team, and it's not even particularly close most times. His development is beyond what anyone could have reasonably expected, even with his college accolades, and I believe this Bengals team, even with a lot of roster work still ahead of them, is looking at a brilliant future behind one of the best young quarterbacks that this league has ever seen, period. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you found it insightful, please leave me a like and consider subscribing to Beyond Football. Planning on covering a lot more players over the season, and I also upload a weekly predictions podcast on my channel called The Scoreboard, featuring fantasy football pro Smokey Ramirez from the Atlanta Trash Talkers. Thank you once again for stopping by, and I will see you in the next one.